never fear. For where there's a will, there's a...
Alright, well.
Alright, Sean.
How should we begin this?
Whatever you want. I'm comfortable. I got my pod pants on.
We just make shit up?
Yeah. So we normally do it. Wing it.
Yeah.
Does this look like this is set up or scripted?
It's extremely professional.
Uh-huh.
Alrighty, so we had some Champions League this week, Will.
We did. We definitely did.
I think we'll start there because it's the freshest stuff. Do you want to go straight to Man United last night because it's the freshest? I think we should go straight to Man United and hear your thoughts on it.
You want to talk about it, don't you?
Well, I don't really have much to say on it, but I think maybe it's the thing that's going to annoy you the most. Maybe we should get it out of the way first.
I'm not annoyed by it.
Continue.
Barca didn't show. You know, the great Barcelona team that even I backed to win the Champions League. Came to Old Trafford and were a shadow of the former self. Like we actually took the game to them, and if only we could finish, we might have got a couple of goals out of it. We grew into the game. You could tell starting off shaky. We were winning possession of the ball, but we were very panicky. So it's almost like they showed Barcelona far too much respect. And then as the game grew on, confidence started to grow. And especially in the second half, the passing a bit more slick. You know, creating chances. A couple of good individual performances. Overall team performance was pretty good. The end product just was not there. Like I don't think Ter Stegen even had a save to make.
No, you just didn't have a shot on target.
No.
People point to the shots on target thing as something to sort of beat teams over the head with, but if you listen to most of the top coaches, they always talk about moments. So if you have a moment in the boxes where you're about to hit a shot and it gets blocked, say by a defender, that's a moment where you could have done better and maybe hit the target. So a lot of coaches you'll see don't really worry about shots on target or even the amount of shots. They're just looking for you to make those moments. The more moments, the better, and the more opportunities. The more opportunities, and yeah, it's about getting better in those moments and making those moments. The thing I thought about this game, about Barcelona, was that Barcelona under Valverde aren't the Barcelona team they were even under Enrique. Never mind going back to Pep. They don't press because they're a bit older. They can't press. Yeah. They don't have the players. Even like if you take the front three, Suarez is getting older and he runs in bursts. Coutinho's, it's one thing he was okay at Liverpool, but he was never great for pressing. And the midfield is just not the same without Iniesta and Xavi, who not just could press all day, and not just could press all day at their peak, but they were very clever at it. They knew where to stand to be the most effective at it. So if they were closing you down, they knew what angle to close you down at so that you had no options to pass the ball. You know, they gave themselves the best chances to intercept. So, and actually, Busquets, you can see how far he's fallen off because he absolutely should have been sent off. He's got 3 bookings last night. Like that one on Pogba.
Oh, he should have been off the first half.
Yeah, the one on Pogba, the one on Pogba
yeah.
And the one on McTominay, and I was just like, Jesus, like ref. Anyway,
he was lucky to finish the first half.
Yeah,
and then Vidal came on. Then he's lucky the last 10 minutes.
Imagine Barcelona.
Madman.
That's Barcelona's off the bench midfielder is Arturo Vidal. Like it's not like bringing on another central midfield ball player like they normally have. They're bringing on workhorses. You know, and that shows you.
It was nearly off.
Well, that's like I said. It shows you how Valverde has changed the team to a bit more hard working. Like they play in bursts and they got their goal, and they kind of just wanted to see the game out. The second half especially, they kind of realised that Man United's threat, like I said to you last week, was on the counter-attack. So Barcelona kind of, like, they built their attacks really slowly, and they pissed the crowd off, so the crowd weren't cheering as much, and so United weren't getting the momentum. Because, you know, United and Old Trafford's a place that if the crowd gets up and the momentum builds, Man United can really go. Like, it's you've seen it yourself. If you, like, I always remember this the same. If you ever watch like a Celtic Rangers game, whoever's at home, if you suddenly get the crowd into a massive roar, expect that team to score, because it's like it really does generate it. You know, I mean, I don't want to point out that Anfield is exactly like that, because everybody talks about Anfield, but Old Trafford can roar when it wants to. But Barcelona seem to be in the second half not like they seem to be slowing the game down, because United don't want it slow. United want it fast. If it was fast, United could make things happen when it's fast. Anyway, like I said, so I think Barcelona could have played better, but they played terribly, and they played very averagely, and they still came out with a 1-0 win. I think maybe if United had a bit more, but Lukaku was probably the wrong player to pick. A guy like Martial might have been able to sneak something. Yeah. Anyway, like he couldn't even bully the centre halves. Like if you're gonna pick him, at least get him to bully people.
Did you see the stats from Ashley Young last night?
No, tell me.
They were shocking. He had a poor game. Like, he did have a poor game, to be fair. But like he lost the ball 32 times.
No way.
30. Yep. And
32 times.
He had 11 crosses and didn't reach one United player by any of them.
Like he's known for his crossing, and they were shocking. Look,
every time he lined up for a cross, he hesitated, he stopped, he went back, he went forward again, he went back. You know, was expecting the defender to go, sorry, man, your road here. Hold on, I'll take a few steps back. You know, I don't know what he was trying to do. Fucking whip the ball under that box.
If he's ever up against Jordi Alba, hey Jordi, I bet you haven't seen this move before.
I learned it from Antonio Valencia. Back and forward, back and forward.
I go one way, and then I go the other way.
Like
Jordi Alba sitting looking at him going, okay, and then what?
I'll just stand here. Don't mind me. I'll just stand here.
You want to know? Was it
like I thought.
There was a moment where Alba got in behind Young on a 1-2. Like, he passed the ball inside, ran in behind Young, and Young followed the ball inside, and the ball got played behind him. And I thought, what age is Young? Is he 32?
33.
33, right? Mm-hmm. That thing happened to Trent last week, where he followed the ball and got done in a 1-2. And I went, okay, you just turned 20. You should probably learn that. As you go, he's 33. I mean, I get it, he's not a natural fullback, but 33. Like, if you're gonna play there, you gotta know not to be ball watching on a 1-2. Simplest fucking playground stuff. Like,
this is my issue on it. Was like, Young had absolutely shocking stats in a game that as big as it was, and he's our captain. You know, I'm in disbelief to see him leading a Manchester United team out. It's Ashley Young, you know. There's bound to be a better leader on that pitch.
Is it just the fact that he's the oldest?
So I wonder, is that the ranking system?
Who's
oldest today? Give him the armband. I don't know. Pogba wasn't as influential as I thought he would be. McTominay done very well, considering the stage he was on and the little time he's been on that pitch.
Pogba was really inconsistent, but McTominay, I thought, played well.
He did.
Considering what he's up against, like him and Fred, I thought did well.
Fred just broke down Barcelona play.
It's what he did. it's an expectation thing. So we expect a certain amount of McTominay and Fred, even though Fred cost a lot of money. He played very little till Ollie arrived, and you're just glad to see them putting in a shift in there. But a guy like Pogba, who cost as much as he did, the claim to be the best midfielder in the world, and you expect a lot more from him.
This is it. Like, he, at the end of the day, is chatting about, his admiration for Real Madrid. Look, if you want to fucking go, I'll drive you there myself. If they pay the money, I'll not fucking miss you. You're not as good as you think you are. You have so much potential, but the thing is, I think he will never fulfill his potential because his attitude is absolutely fucking shocking.
It's weird.
He's like a spoiled brat.
He is super talented.
He is, but you know what? What has he done for us since he came that we're going to miss?
What about I had heard this suggested.
Far better player last night, and he came through the academy.
Yeah, I had heard this suggested that United would offer him to Real Madrid.
Hit me.
Get Varane in exchange plus a load of money. Now I know Madrid want to get rid of Bale, but Varane is who United want.
Yeah, we don't want Bale. We wanted Bale 3 or 4 years ago. We don't want Bale now.
What about Varane?
I'll take Varane in a heartbeat. An absolute heartbeat.
Real Madrid would be fucking crazy to get rid of Varane.
I don't think he'll go. Not with Zidane there again. He played a lot of game time under Zidane with all the trophies and all the nice shiny stuff that he got them.
Alright, so
I'd love to see him in the United team though. But not Pogba, you go on the fuck, I don't care. You know what, he's as big a problem to United as Mourinho was. And he's not worth the money. You know what? We'll throw on a free Sanchez too when we're at it.
Throw one in. I'm just looking for, Varane is 25. He'll be 26 this month, but that's no age for a centre half.
Yep. No, I mean he can go on with that pace and strength to his early 30s. 32, 33 before he starts losing pace, and he's strong. He's a big boy,
and he's gotten better with his positioning and his tackling. So I know,
Although I do have to give the mention out to Chris Smalling, who we took the absolute piss out of, claiming that he had the secret to stopping Messi. And I even said yesterday, R.I.P. Chris Smalling's career. You've said this about Messi. Messi's going to make sure he fucking nutmegs you 23 times in the first half. And then Smalling, how would you describe what he did? It was accidental.
Well, he went
inverted commas.
Well, let's just examine it. How accidental it was. So he goes up for a fairly physical challenge because he wants to win a ball, and he wants to get in front of Messi. But he decides to make sure that his shoulder goes through Messi's back on the way through, and it's his arm catches him after he collides with Messi.
Yeah,
but he 100%. He 100% on purpose hit him in the back. First, the forearm hitting him in the nose was probably accidental, but the first part of it was 100% on purpose.
Well, you know what? We mocked him knowing the secret, but it worked.
Yeah, let's see how well it works.
Chris Smalling, absolute fucking technical genius. Oh, he didn't say it worked at the new camp now. He said he had the secret of stopping Messi. He didn't say at the new camp. So, if Messi scores 2 or 3 hat-tricks, then we'll have to forgive him for that.
Alright, you got anything more you talk about in this game, or are we going to jump over to Ajax and Juve?
Well, put it like this. As you started the conversation, wanting to know my reaction, I actually came out of full-time whistle pretty happy. We are a goal down going into the second leg away from home with a lot more belief. I mean, if Ollie really musters that, shows the game going, look, that's what you did. But if you fucking really, really went for it, you could have taken Barcelona. You could have had them. Now, once you go out there, they're going to raise their game. You raise your fucking game too. Don't make it easy for them. You know yourself, quarter-final Champions League, anything could happen.
Not
I
only
wouldn't
that,
put money on it.
not only that,
But do you
you
believe?
got to think about Man United's away form in the Champions League this year. It's far better than their home form.
Better than the home farm. Yeah.
It's very weird,
It is, to
but
be true.
you know,
Um,
you cling
but
to
the
little,
thing
you
is,
cling to little bonuses.
this is the thing. It was said to me yesterday, and then when it was repeated to me today, I had to laugh, and it was, how are they going to deal with Messi? You know, Messi best in the world and all the rest. And then it was said to me that well, look, United faced Ronaldo and Mbappe, and have kept them quiet in the game. Why can't they do it with Messi? Messi was quiet.
The one thing I would
Did you
say,
read that
if Dembele plays, it's a
that
different
quote I
story.
sent you
What was that?
about Messi?
Oh yeah,
Very
who said
lucky to be
that?
on the pitch. I don't know. It was sent to me. I'll just actually read it here. It's from the Football Republic today. Messi was very lucky to stay on the pitch because he had trouble breathing through his nose, so he had to do it through his mouth. He also had a small eyebrow gash that made it impossible for him to see.
Yeah,
Do we believe any of that?
somebody's over egging the pudding there.
Wouldn't be Messi's agent, wouldn't know.
Not a fucking hope. Messi's agent doesn't speak. He does what he's told.
See, this is all United have to do at the new camp. In the first 5 minutes, when Messi is still trying to work the game out, run up and stand on him. Like, just fucking put him to the face like it would belong in a wrestling ring, Undertaker style. I mean, if Busquets can get away with fouls they get, surely you get away with fucking kicking the face off a player. Wouldn't you?
Not at the new camp.
I mean, the Spanish teams don't roll about just after a shot. Or... Right, moving on.
At the new camp, dude.
Moving on. Another goal.
Yeah, you're not going to get away with a single foul at the new camp.
Another goal for Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ronaldo, another goal. Brilliant goal. Although the keeper saved it, but it was the power in the header and the run, the cross. It was a great goal.
Yeah.
Although,
That's him 17 goals ahead of Messi in the Champions League. That was his 126th Champions League goal.
Well, he'd be alright.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Well, he does tend to save his goals for the Champions League. It's his competition. He seems to love it. Seems to come alive in the later rounds of it.
Ronaldo League. Tuesday night.
Just on Ajax. Ajax were, they created plenty of chances, and the goal Ajax scored was an excellent goal as well. Have you seen it?
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Yeah.
This young fella, David Neres, is left wing, and he's Brazilian, left footer too. But he was going down the left wing, cut inside, and bent the ball with his right foot around the keeper. Fantastic finish, and Ajax should have scored more, and it was a bit like the Real Madrid game where they had loads of chances in the first game, but didn't get the result, and then eventually went away and destroyed Madrid in their own ground. But obviously Juve in their own ground is a different prospect than Madrid. Different prospect altogether. Like the organisation of Juve, far better.
You see what Ajax can do. They'll push them anyway. We'll test them.
Yeah, they've looked really good this tournament. They're such a good team.
There's that boy as well. Have you ever heard of him? Tadic,
the one that got away.
Yeah, Liverpool, Porto. You watched it? I didn't.
Liverpool, Porto. Yeah, it was a good game. Good game if you're a Liverpool fan. Do you know what?
Game if you're a Porto fan?
No, like Liverpool didn't seem like they were. Like they played well in the first half and seemed to just be happy to sit out the second half. They tried a few chances. They had one goal in the second half that was ruled offside, which is fair enough. But they played well, like I said, in that first half, they looked like the team that hammered Porto last year in that first half. But at the same time, they let Porto have a few half chances, and a better team would have punished them. But I get the feeling that a better team, Liverpool, would have taken them more seriously.
Salah, was he lucky to stay on the pitch? Did I hear correctly?
By the letter of the law, he was, but I think what has happened in this situation is that the reaction of Danilo, because like Salah is trying to get the ball, but he ends up with his studs on Danilo's shin as Danilo's sliding in on the ground.
Yeah.
So in slow motion, it looks worse than at full speed. At full speed, you can see he doesn't put all that much power into it because he's actually trying to hook the ball with his foot. He's trying to hook around.
Yeah.
So there's not actually that much power in his foot, but when you watch it in the replay, you can see the studs go right. The thing is, the studs hit the shin guard, and Danilo, I'm guessing, didn't fully realise he'd been touched at all because he just sort of half noticed, then he jumped up to sort of play on. And I think it's the fact that he jumped up to play on is why the referee didn't do anything. Well, the referee gave a free kick, but only a free kick.
So you're saying as if he played for a Spanish team, then Salah probably been looking at a prison sentence.
I'm telling you, if he had more time to think about it, he would have rolled around holding the shin, and Salah would have got the line. But I honestly think it's just because he just passed him by. I just think he just didn't think about it in the moment, Danilo. And this is a way, and it's a problem I've seen in rugby too, where referees look at the outcome of an incident as opposed to the intent of the incident. If you watch the intent of the incident, you go, okay, there's no intent there, but it's a bad challenge, maybe a booking or something. But if he had rolled around holding his leg, the referee sent him off. And
so the
referee's always
situation to Fun Park recently.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah,
we only have a certain amount of time.
The goals, what were they like? I haven't seen. Okay, they got another one.
So yeah, the Keita was another sort of nice build up. They got the ball forward very quickly, and Keita came in off his position as one of as the left of the three in midfield, and they were played it across the pitch and then back across the pitch to Keita, who was on the edge of the box. He hits a shot, deflects in past the keeper. It's good. The second goal was a much better build up because they switched the play across the field very quickly. Firmino had the ball out on the left, played it back inside to the midfielders, and then headed into the box. And as he was heading into the box, the ball came to Jordan Henderson, who's playing in his new right side of three in midfield, something I called, I believe, a year ago. You might remember. Right side of three in midfield. I mean, I don't mean to take total credit for this sudden change in formation, but like I'm going to take total credit for it. Now, so listen. So Henderson gets the ball.
We do know Jurgen does listen, so you never know.
And Henderson plays this lovely slide rule pass in between the fullback and the centre halves. Trent's on the overlap, drives it across the face of the goal, and who's there but Firmino running at the back post, the same guy who sort of started the move out in the left, and he taps it into an empty net. And it was a brilliant, really well worked goal, but people are giving they're talking up Henderson's performance, playing on the right side playing to the right of Fabinho. That's the same role he played the time Liverpool finished second in the league under Rodgers, where basically he's covering a lot of ground for on that right hand side, box to box. I'm not going to say he's an attacking midfielder, and I'm not going to say he's a defensive midfielder, but he can run a lot. And he showed he can occasionally pass it, he can occasionally cross. Like I said, I've always said this. He's functional. He's got some good attributes, but I wouldn't expect him to be a playmaker, or I wouldn't rely on him for anything amazing. But he definitely can work his balls off on that right hand side.
Moment of brilliance.
Not only that, it protects Trent having him on the right side of three in midfield behind Salah, because Salah doesn't defend as much as Mane, but he'll help protect Trent. And that's something that they've needed for the last couple of games. Trent's been kind of getting exposed by people realizing that there's nothing in that right-hand side except him. So, like I said, it's a good switch. It's something I thought should have been done at the start of the season when Fabinho arrived. But I mean,
But
I don't mean to say I'm smarter than Jurgen Klopp. I mean, I'm probably just slightly less smart than him.
Is that you fishing for a role in the coaching staff, is it?
Well, he's already lost an assistant one stage at Liverpool. You never know, maybe he might need another one.
You hear that, Jurgen? That's a come and get me plea.
Yeah.
If ever I heard one. What was it? Oh, City and Spurs.
Talk about in this game.
Go for it.
The performance of Mo Salah, and there seems to be some confusion with Liverpool fans, as to some Liverpool fans, not naming any names. Jay, what Salah actually does, and there seems to be this idea that Salah is like an actually skillful winger. I mean, he's obviously more skillful than either of us because he's a professional footballer. But what Salah is quick, he's strong, and he can score.
Mm-hmm.
He's not actually that skillful. He's got an okay touch. He's obviously very, very good, but he's not in the same when it comes to running at players and taking players on. He's not in the same class as Arjen Robben.
Messi. Yeah, Robben.
We don't even need to bring Messi into this.
Yeah, Robben.
Like Arjen Robben.
Yeah, I get you.
There are other players in his position who are better at taking players on, but if he gets in behind you, he has the pace and the strength to get away from almost anyone. And he has a role in the Liverpool team, and Liverpool sort of play to suit him. And people complaining about, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. He actually had one of the best passing percentages of any of the front players in the Liverpool game the last night. So it's like what you expect from him, and what he actually does is two different things. And people just need to get used to what he is as opposed to what they think he is.
So what was the opinion of Jay?
Well, Jay thought he had a shocking game. I thought he had a good game because he worked hard. He does what he does. He threatens in behind so much that one of the chances Liverpool created was an incredible moment where he stood out in the left and then he run across the fullback. The fullback and the left-sided centre-back followed him to the point where both Henderson and Trent were free on the right wing. Now you can imagine Henderson wasn't standing out in the right wing. He was the left of a three in midfield, but he was able to go in an overlap out there. They had that much space because everybody followed Salah, and that's part of what he does. Him simply being on the pitch and threatening to run in behind you scares defenders because it's like my father always used to say this about Michael Owen when I used to think Michael Owen was playing badly. He says it doesn't matter if Michael Owen's playing badly, you still have to leave two men on the pitch to mark him. Because you dare not.
Areas.
That's you've got to mark him, and he threatens, and like I said, he's not the most skillful winger. He is just literally a quick left-footed forward, and Liverpool have found a use for him. I think I'm done now.
Okay. Well, we have a quick word on the other quarterfinal.
Yeah, fuck you, Man City. Sorry. Yeah. Hey, what the hell was Pep thinking? Did you see the team sheet for this game?
Yeah, I did. I only seen the goal and I didn't actually see the game, but I did look at the teams before I left, and I thought to myself, aren't you very confident? Aren't you a bit ballsy?
Confident or overthinking it? Because do you remember last year when they played Liverpool, they played Gundogan out in the right of midfield?
For some unknown reason.
He said afterwards it was to try and control midfield, and Liverpool were like, have you seen us play all season? We control fuck all. It was just end to end. It was who can score the most. like it's a totally different team this year with Van Dijk. Last year it was like who can score the most. And
I do think it's the kick in the box that City needed because they were just flying a bit too close to the sun this past month or so.
Yeah, they've been walking over teams in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, like I know we're switching to the game on Saturday, but Brighton could have fucking took that game. So we were just scored in the 3rd minute and went, oh, okay, we're ahead now. That's it.
Just walk it off.
Yeah, I do think they needed. Funny, Pep did say after the game that the 1-0 loss was better for them than 0-0, which logically you kind of go, how is that even mathematically?
Would that make 2-0 even better?
Possibly. He said, I don't know, as that has approach, you kind of going, right, this is the kick up the arse the players needed. No, 4. Now, bear in mind, now Spurs lost Harry Kane. That looked to be a serious injury.
Yeah, it's a ligament damage. I'd say it's a season ender. So
they don't have Harry Kane for 2 games against City now?
Doesn't matter. Son will do it. Come on, Son. Come on, my son.
I've got Harry Kane in my team. I have to go find a replacement for him now.
Good point. Spurs and City was kind of even enough game. Spurs worked very hard, but I want to say City played a weakened team, but how can you say City played a weakened team when they have Mahrez is their second string player? Like they should have enough to beat most teams with their second team. But the fact that they left De Bruyne and Sané on the bench till nearly, was it the 85th minute?
Yeah.
What was that about?
You see, I do think that's the last time we're going to see Mahrez starting. It's going to be Bernardo Silva the rest of the season now, because every game is now a must-win for them, and they have to take it serious.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. Like I couldn't believe they didn't pick. Although was Bernardo Silva injured? I think he might have been injured. He would seem to be the undroppable one on that team.
You see, he'd be the only other one. I know Sterling's up there, but for Van Dijk taking the PFA Player of the Year, Bernardo Silva is the only other one I put up beside him.
Yeah, he's been brilliant for them.
Yeah, look, the second leg's going to be good watching for us neutrals. Yeah. Although the last thing you want is City to drop out.
No, yeah. I need Spurs to beat City in the league. Or at the very least,
not in Champions League.
Get a draw. Get a draw in the league. Man United and City, a draw. I don't need you to beat them. 2 draws. That's the dream. 2 draws is the dream. I have funny dreams.
This is awkward. Anything else to say on City Spurs?
No. Alright, so that's the Champions League covered.
Right. Friday night passed. We both said 2-0 Liverpool won over Southampton. Southampton made it a little more difficult for you.
Yeah, Hasenhüttl's got them playing well. And and he's got them working really hard, and they were very good, especially in that first 20 minutes. They really troubled Liverpool, but in Liverpool's midfield, I think, Wijnaldum, he was the one who started on the 3 of the midfield that night, and he was exhausted, I think, just from a long season. He's played them more than anyone else. So, Liverpool sort of slowly got their way back into the game. They got the first goal back, Naby Keita, great header, good man, starting to pick up his form. Perfect time of the season for him to really start, and then
it's the right time of the season.
Yeah, and then even the second half, he threw Henderson and Milner on, put Milner right back, put Henderson right side of the 3 in midfield, because that's the side of the pitch Liverpool are having real problems with. Redmond would pull over there, and then they'd have Bertrand attacking from left wing back. And it was funny, before the game, on last week's pod, I said teams playing 3 at the back tend to struggle against Liverpool, but they did it different to Tottenham. They played a back 3, and Redmond or Shane Long, depending on whoever was closest, would drop into midfield to make a 4-man midfield. So it would be harder for Liverpool to play the ball. That and the fact that Wijnaldum didn't have a good game, and once Henderson and Milner came on and they upped the aggression, they upped the work rate. Liverpool got control, and it was only a matter of time before they got the next one. And Salah scored a brilliant breakaway goal to put them 2-1 up. And the third was all Bobby Firmino, and Henderson Henderson scored for the first time in about a year and a half. Like it was it was good run from him. Like he was determined to get there, and it's something Liverpool's midfield has lacked all season. Someone with a bit of aggression breaking forward. They've missed the ox for that, and it was a good goal. But again, it took Firmino to. It was a long ball, collected it, beat the defender, laid the pass perfectly on him for it. All he had to do was pass it into the net. Just speaking of Henderson, something has come to my attention, and I'm gonna try this on you now. What age do you think Jordan Henderson is?
29.
He's 28.
That was close enough.
Yeah. See, I was thinking
he's been around for ages, though.
Oh yeah, I was thinking, Jesus, he must be 30 now. And I looked at him, I was like, Jesus, he's 28. I was thinking he's actually like he should really be at his peak right now. But he's had the same problem a lot of players have had. There was a lot thought of him, probably too much thought of him, and then he was horsed around different positions. And like I said, he works really hard, and he can up the aggression when it's needed. And sometimes like. A player like Fabinho, for example, he's a very classy holding midfielder, but every now and again you want someone to just boot someone. You need that sort of dirty Sunderland player in there. Like you need that. Like you remember when United had was it Fletcher?
Yes.
Like Fletcher's a good player, but so much of his game was built on his sheer work rate and aggression.
Oh, he never stopped.
It's an important cog to have in any team.
All heart, no skill.
All right, so
where do you want to go next?
Well, I thought you would want to talk about Wolves and Watford. That was a good game.
Cracking game for neutral. Like both Watford and Wolves, I got no preference which one went through. Both enjoy watching both of them. Really was a game of two halves. Like Wolves could have had 3 or 4 in the first half. It really was one-sided, and then Watford decided a couple of changes, like De La Feu coming on. It was a game changer. It was up the class. You see his first goal?
Yeah, it's good. Good finish.
Yeah. It was definitely top 10 anyway for Wembley goals. And the balls of Dini took that 94th minute penalty. They sent it into extra time. Dini's comments after.
Speaking of players with balls or cajones, Dini is the man you want. Do you remember him talking about Arsenal players have no cajones?
Ain't got the grapefruits.
You ain't got the minerals.
Any comments on his comments after the game?
About the credit to the fans for being far better than the fans than the day before. That's what you expect from
the fans were a lot better than the fans that were there the day previous.
Considering the day before they had one set of fans who were interested, and those are the Brighton fans, and then the next day you had 2 sets of fans interested.
I do like the fact that at half time of the City game they interviewed 6 of the school kids that Sterling had paid for to come to the game, and the commentator, he made the mistake or he intentionally did it. There also must have scarves on them provided by the club, asked them who they supported, and not one of them supported City. There's even even one of them supported Arsenal.
Yeah. Well, I'm fairly sure the school Sterling would have went to would have been in London anyway.
Well, there was a couple of United fans there. It was funny because the last two is Man United. Oh, Man United. And he's like, oh, all right. Something with City scares on them. Oh, one of them was a Liverpool fan as well.
That's funny. Yeah, look.
That's,
City
that's,
it's not that they've no fans.
The
It's
fan
just they're so rich that the FA Cup doesn't really mean much to them anymore.
Sure, they can't follow their own stadium on a weekly basis. They have more seats than they have fans. And then when it comes to Wembley, then they have to actually buy the seats for people to put the white and blue on them, even though they won't cheer for them and they don't support them.
Yeah, look,
go figure.
I remember last year when Liverpool played them in the Champions League, and Liverpool's fans they got a little bit overexcited with the bus greeting and smashed a few windows, but they were very intense. They had the red flares out. They were cheering the Liverpool bus on and screaming at the Man City bus, and they were really up for it when the game started. And the next week they went to the city's to Man City's ground, and like they were like, oh, they were gonna get revenge, and nothing. There was nothing. Like there was no hardcore fan base that were trying to intimidate the Liverpool players. Not like there was very little reaction at all. And that's kind of a problem when you have too much success, really, isn't it? Like you expect success, so you don't get into it.
You buy success. This is the difference. What was it? There was something there a couple of weeks ago. There was some event, and they wanted some Man City legends at it, but they couldn't get any because they're all on international duty. Oh, you can't buy class, but you can't buy fans.
You can buy classy footballers.
Yeah, they always, growing up, dreamed of playing for Manchester City. This is awkward. Right, where are we going next?
Well, just back to the Wolves game. Matt Doherty got another goal.
Did?
I've seen the subject brought up before about him possibly playing as a holding midfielder for Ireland because the fact that Ireland has two decent right backs.
Why not play on left back?
And they could just play him left back, but Stevens is good there though. But do you think Doherty could play in midfield?
Well, I might find out. I'm sure Mick could get something out of him. Actually, that's something that was asked to me that we skipped over a couple weeks ago, and the person that listened was very surprised that I didn't jump all over it. You slept Mick McCarthy's bed?
Yeah. Who was the listener who brought this up? It was Dara, wasn't it?
They don't want to be recognised.
It was Dara, wasn't it?
It wasn't Dara. It wasn't Dara.
Yeah, you didn't. You didn't. You want some details on me sleeping in Mick McCarthy's bed?
I know this is anything goes in this pod, but we do have younger listeners. Should we open this can of worms? It was just it was mentioned that the people that know me know what I'm like. When that was thrown in front of me, why the fuck did I didn't jump all over it? And funny, when I listened back, then I was like, yeah, there, look, that moment, that bit of silence there, that's when I come in and say something, and I didn't. I dropped the ball. Do
you want me to explain what the story is behind it?
You may have to before this is in the papers tomorrow.
He wasn't there at the
Briefly.
time. He shared a villa with my uncle. Him and my uncle are best friends.
Oh, okay.
And they shared a villa in Portugal, and I stayed there.
Okay. Mike wasn't there at the time.
No, because it would be a bit weird if everyone tried to live there at the same time he did.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I just thought we should have that on clarification,
Yeah. Mick's a great lad. He was actually my cousin, who's the son of the uncle who he's best friends with. He was at his wedding in Kildare. It was down in Carton House, and Mick was buying drinks and chatting to everybody. He was good. He was good crack on the night.
Yeah, a few what? On him, did he?
We had real celebrities at this wedding. So we had Mick. He was still Ipswich manager at the time, and we had Conall Gallen.
And yourself?
Obviously myself. I mean, that was obvious. Like,
yeah, I just thought you mentioned. You don't give yourself enough credit sometimes.
It was like the time somebody asked Messi to name the best 3 players in the world, and he didn't mention. He did, and they said apart from yourself, and he didn't mention Ronaldo. And someone says, "Oh, you didn't mention Ronaldo in that list." He goes, "Oh, I didn't include Ronaldo along with myself."
Yeah, that's
like I assumed
what you meant.
I assumed when you meant don't include yourself, you also meant don't include Ronaldo, because it is literally him and Ronaldo, then everyone else.
But I guarantee you, if you asked Ronaldo the same question, you would have got a totally different answer.
Yeah, well, Ronaldo's a cunt.
Yeah, he is. I just noticed that Ramsey has scored again for Arsenal tonight in the Europa League.
What's the
how much a class act? Arsenal are 2 up, and Chelsea's 1 up. It's just when I see Ramsey score again, you're just thinking, what a class act! Like, his head has to be in turn, and he's still banging out man of the match performance. Man of the match performances for a club that doesn't want him.
Well, hold on a second. It's a club that did want him, but just didn't want him as much as they wanted Ozil. And
now look at it.
In fairness, like they have finally figured out how to get an Ozil and Ramsey into the same team, but it's too little, too late.
Yeah, sure. They up there much longer. What was the point trying to figure it out? Just let Ozil collect that extravagant salary, sit on the bench. I mean, if you want to pay me 350,000 sterling a week to sit on the bench, I'll sit on that fucking bench better than anybody you've ever seen.
I'll be the best goddamn bench sitting ever. You can take that to the bank and cash my enormous check.
You have a list of topics you want to do a fire round on?
Well, there's not so much a list of... my list of topics mostly revolved around the Champions League and how, I'm right about things. Gotta always make sure to get in there.
Oh man, you had to praise yourself. Nobody else could. This is our pod.
Absolutely no one else is going to.
We can sit here for fucking 20 minutes and say how great we are.
I just wanted to kind of... I sent you a little video clip of some people who were responding to the Oireachtas committee talking with the FAI. Have you seen many of the highlights from this?
No.
So
give us a wee summary.
So John Delaney is brought before this committee along with basically everyone that works for the FAI. Everyone. And so the financial director is not the same director from the time of the 100,000 loan. So basically this guy's in the job about 2 months, but he's brought up to answer questions about things that happened 2 years ago. Which is fucking...
Even though he wasn't there, nor should be held accountable.
Of course not. Right? He's just in the door.
Yeah.
So time comes finally for John Delaney to give his statement. He says he's going to read out a statement. The problem is when you go to the Oireachtas committee, you're supposed to present your statements beforehand. And he knows this. It's not the first time he's been brought before them. Right? He fucking, he has a special seat reserved in there. Like, he knew this, that you have to submit a statement beforehand. But of course, so they had to take a break so that everyone could go read a statement and confer for fucking 20 minutes. But like, It was only like a 2 or 3 minute speech he gave. So he gives this speech. He explains what happened with the €100,000 loan. So they have a meeting. At the meeting, the finance department tells him that if everyone cashes the checks that all external people, everyone who the IRFU or not the IRFU, everyone that the FAA owes money to, if they all take their money, the FAA won't get any money in, and they'll exceed their $1.5 million overdraft they have with Bank of Ireland. First of all, the question should be from John Delaney was, how the fuck and what kind of jackass are you that's running the finance department that let that happen? Like, seriously,
Yeah.
like, but of
This
course,
is their job.
that isn't John Delaney. John Delaney says there that I recall my surprise and shock at this situation. Yeah, you recall 2 years fucking later. So maybe they were paying your rent. Maybe that's why they were exceeding it. The rent prices went up or something.
Well, that's it. Don't pay my rent this year, and we'll fall, nicely in that overdraft.
So he then goes on in his speech to say that he then wrote them a €100,000 loan because he said if he had more time, he could have arranged for a different method to protect them from exceeding the $1.5 million. The $1.5 million overdraft.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm following this story right, that means that they came to him at the last fucking minute to tell him this, and they had no time to plan this out. Does that sound like a well-run business or a well-run machine? That it's
sounds Irish.
That it's like, come on. There's plenty of well-run Irish businesses, man.
Right, but look,
it's hey, the fucking look at the IRFU. I shouldn't even look at the IRFU, but the IRFU is sitting there. It's a fully professional sport. And I know it only has 4 teams to really worry about, but it's got nearly twice the revenue pumping into it that the FAI does, and they use the same stadium. So, like it's been badly managed, and the IRFU had loads of problems like this before, and they eventually sort of, they got rid of the Blazers who were running it and brought in some proper administrators, professionals who knew what they were at, and they've turned themselves around in the last 10 years. But I digress. So Delaney has said that, it's all somebody else's fault, and the guy whose fault it is, of course, has left the company. Because remember, this was 2 years ago, and they have a different financial director in there. So, of course, he's not there to answer any questions, the guy who was the financial director at the time. So he writes this personal check from his personal bank account, gives them $100,000, tells them to only lodge it in case of emergency, and he flies off to some... I think he said he was flying off to Switzerland or something like that for an event. Probably UEFA meeting, something.
First class, paid by private jet.
Yeah, nobody asked him when he was flying off. Was it first class or was it economy, or and how much did that cost out of the $1.5 million overdraft that you were somehow managed to overspend? But
so this is the FAI's fucking safety net for finance is John Delaney. Is that what he's trying to say? That when the chips are down and they're in trouble, where's John?
He's not only the safety net, he was the safety net beyond the safety net. The safety net is the $1.5 million in the bank account. You know what I mean? Like, their bank account is supposed to be... They're supposed to pay for things out of the money in the bank account, and the $1.5 million is for if they say, they don't make enough on ticket sales, so there's, they're allowed to go into the overdraft, and then you build it back up. The fact that he had to... They were going to go beyond the $1.5 million, and he was going to have to give them another $100,000 to make sure they didn't get in any trouble. How
did it get to the stage where $100,000 made the difference of hitting over the $1.5 million?
Think about that. $1.5 million is 15 of those $100,000 checks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you telling me a bank isn't going to let you go another $100,000 when you're already $1.5 million down? 100
Are
grand's
you
my
telling me that once they exceed $1 million in the overdraft, where there's not some sort of procedure comes in to kind of tighten things around to make sure it doesn't get to that stage where they go, Jesus, John, you wouldn't throw us a few quid, we're stuck.
Or better yet, post-date one of those fucking checks you're paying out to somebody.
To John Delaney.
Like, if you've got to pay, or if you owe money to a club or some prize money to someone, just say you're going to get it a month later than normal because reasons, and then wait for the money to come in.
Yeah.
But look,
John, you're getting paid 360,000 euros a year, plus we're going to pay that's 3,000 a month rent.
Oh man, I haven't even got that far yet. Let's finish what he's talking about in his statement. So in his statement, he explains that this was a safety net. He finds out after he's flown off to Switzerland or wherever the fuck he flew after, that they need to lodge it in the account. So they lodge it in the account, and 2 months later they pay him the full 100,000 back, no interest payments, nothing. He lodged it back in his own account. He then goes on to say that after receiving legal advice, he has been advised that he can't say any more than that, and he cannot answer any more questions regarding the loan. And here's the real best bit of the statement. He also can't answer any questions about his time in his former position as CEO. Now think about that. He was CEO for 14 years.
That's about as dodgy as Father Ted Crowley. He's just saying, the money was just resting in my account.
He said that he can't answer questions about his former position. He's been in his new position as executive vice president basically 2 weeks.
He can't answer them because, due to legal advice, he just incriminated himself because he's a crooked bastard.
I mean, you're supposed to be coming here to set the record straight, and you've been trying to say it's no big deal. This is just something that was an emergency, no big deal. Let's set the record straight. But instead you go down this road of legal advice. I'm not going to answer any more questions other than this shitty little fucking speech I just gave. And the part that really annoyed me is that I'm not going to answer any questions about my time as CEO. Gee, that's 2 years ago you were the CEO when this happened. That's exactly what we need to fucking find out. What was happening?
Yeah, of total transparency. Explain what happened.
You're
going to tell us above board.
You're not going to answer questions about when you were CEO. Then what the fuck were they doing there? Like, that committee meeting went on for 7 friggin' hours. What was the point of the whole thing if he wasn't going to answer questions? Oh man, it's such a joke.
I wonder if he's starting to fear the wolves are coming to the door.
I don't think he is. I think he's got a fucking brass neck on him, and he thinks he's getting away with it. Because so long as a certain people in certain administrators who run the different grassroots leagues support him, he's okay. The problem is the fans don't support him. And I saw someone compare him to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has has his base of fans who no matter what he does always love him. But Donald Trump has fans. John Delaney has no fans. The fans don't love John Delaney. The other administrators who work for him and work in and around him in Delaneyland, that in the FAI, Delaneyland in the FAI, only those people seem to be the ones talking him up, and it's such a joke that he thinks. I honestly think that he thinks that he has done good by going in there and basically giving a shitty little speech and then refusing to answer questions at all about the things that people actually wanted to know about.
I think we got the name for this pod. Delaneyland. I'm very impressed with this. Did you come up with this?
Delaney's... man, I will... The profanities are about to flow from me over this.
Remember that here we missed 8 months of podding because we said too much. We don't want to go back down that road. I do like Delaneyland. It's like a film Django Unchained, where Leonardo DiCaprio's playing Calvin Candy. Candyland. That's just how I envision it now. Yes, Mr. Delaney.
Like, the fact, like, the fact is, he in his speech he said that the people, you know, he didn't quite say this, but he essentially said that the people who were in charge of the finances at the time were at fault, and of course they're not there to answer the questions. So nothing came from that 7 fucking hours. And here's the best bit. The best bit. You know how I love politics, right? You know, love it. It doesn't make me really angry at all. Who is paying?
Go for it.
Who is paying for that 7 hours?
You know who.
We are the fucking taxpayer. The fucking taxpayer paid for them. From it? We got Delaney saying nothing.
We got a statement that they printed off Google Statements. I could have drafted that within like 3 minutes of turning the computer on. Generic statement. Print.
Enter statement type. FAI statement. Under legal advice, I can't answer this. We have 3 ongoing reviews, so we can't say anything till the reviews are done. Hang on a second. Run this one. Run this one through the logic generator for me, right? You're the CEO. I mean, you're executive vice president, but you're still the CEO. We know you're still a CEO. Like, let's not fucking bullshit here. You've got 3 different reviews going on of the different practices to find out what's going on and what should be done to change the FAI, and to even look into the €100,000 loan. You did it. You don't need a review to tell you why you did it. Just remember why you did it and fucking tell us why they were over $1.5 million overdrawn. Just admit it.
He wasn't going to Switzerland. He was going back to Vegas. That's why they're $1.5 million in the overdraft.
It was just resting in my account. This was really money for lords.
Man, I think that's a good note to wrap it on.
I think we're good there, Wilman. Alright, we'll be back next week. Unless something fantastic happens and we find the chance to record again. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Until next time, man.
Sinead.
Slanish.